People are going to hate me for this. Settle in, pour yourself a dram, maybe a dram from a certain Campbeltown distillery. I'm actually a little scared for the comments on this video, but I've got to do it. Come closer.
I am not the biggest fan of Springbank.
How dare you say that?
I would go as far as saying I may be a bit anti-Springbank. But before the Campbeltown cult descends on me with flaming forks, hear me out. This isn't a hit piece. I respect Springbank, I admire their ethos, I totally get the appeal, but I also think we need to talk about the myth, the hype, and whether it is really worth all the drama and the price tag. If you haven't already typed slander in the comments, grab a dram and join me, Jeff Whisky, and let's dive in.
Jeff Whisky.
If you were to look for any content around Springbank, from blogs to reviews, and here on YouTube, it is 99.9% guaranteed to be pretty praising. And let's start by giving Springbank due credit. It is possibly the biggest cult following for any Scotch brand, and that is including Ardbeg. They are one of the last family-owned distilleries in Campbeltown, and they fully do things their way. They floor malt their own barley, they do the full process in-house, and they release non-chilled filtered whiskey at respectable ABVs, and you just do love to see it. They are a bit like the indie band of whiskey, raw, authentic and full of character. Early days Arctic Monkeys, huge well-deserved traction in the right circles. For every Suck It and See and 4 out of 5, you have a 2013 or another rare bad song from them. And like that indie band, they've now become so legendary that you can't mention their name without triggering a wave of reverence, a flood of praise, and sometimes just a hint of whiskey idolization.
I noticed you used a lot of big words.
So let's make a start, and I'm going to try defend myself. Of course, I'm going to need a dram to do this. I personally have worked in marketing and design for nearly 15 years, and from the point where I could start picking my education, I've done communications and culture, art, photography, graphic design, psychology, interactive media, and literally become marketing scum. Hopefully that will help with my point here, but with Springbank it prides itself on having no marketing. No flashy labels, no fancy Instagram competitions, no trendy influencer collaborations, and yet everyone talks about Springbank. And it comes down to the mystique is the marketing. When you limit supply, you keep the packaging basic and you say, we don't do hype, it becomes the most hyped thing by default. It's a bit like Fight Club. The first rule of Springbank is, you always talk about Springbank. It is a brilliant strategy. It's like reverse psychology branding. If Diageo did it, people would scream like artificial scarcity. But Springbank, they're just being rustic and humble and traditional. And this has all been an active choice. They have never fully rebranded. They've just chosen to adjust, adapt, subtly evolve their labels, which is certainly a lesson some brands should have paid attention to. Talisker.
Nasty cough.
Now here is where it gets a bit sticky. Springbank keeps supply low, and good on them, they don't want to compromise quality for quantity, but that business model inadvertently fuels flipping and collecting. I know they do things all old school and they do have capacity limits, but I'm just being a bit of the devil on the shoulder here. And if you go into any whiskey auction site, type in Springbank, you will see bottles flipping for 2 times, 3 times, even 10 times the retail price. Even now with the whiskey bubble bursting, a shameless plug to that video series, it is like shiny Pokemon cards but with sherry casks and sea spray. And the irony is, a brand that supposedly doesn't chase hype has become the most hyped and collectible brand in the market. I dread to think to the percentage of people who are buying but not drinking, they're just hoarding their Springbanks.
Behold my stuff.
So now let's talk price. This is possibly my biggest struggle. Once upon a time, the Springbank 10-year-old was the best kept secret in whiskey. 35 to 40 quid for a full-bodied characterful dram. Now, you're looking at around 60 quid, and that is if you can even find it at retail. This is actually the first bottle I've ever been able to pick up of Springbank, and it did cost me 58 quid. For any other distillery, I think you'll be hearing more grumbles of a 10-year-old Scotch that's not even a new distillery selling their bottles at this cost. There are whiskies out there at similar ages, similar ABVs, doing just as much for less. So let's play the could have had game. Starting with Arran 10 for under £45, a well-loved island malt, fruity, balanced, beautiful presentation, same ABV, same age statement. Or you could have had a bottle of Ledaig 10 for about 20 quid less, fractionally higher ABV, same age statement, more peat, way easier to get your hands on. Or you could have had Nevis 10. This is another cult bottle. It's a if you know type of distillery, full of character, under 60 quid, same ABV, same age statement. And let's even try the Isle tax. Ardbeg 10, cult following, same ABV, same age, 15 quid cheaper. Granted, it's fair to say they have a lot more bottles released. Then, if you want to even stay at the same price, the world loved by fans, fantastic peated delight that is Port Charlotte 10. Same age, higher ABV and a bit funky. Of course, all these examples, all non-chill filtered, all natural coloured, all enthusiast focused. Now, I'm not saying they're better per se, but
Percy was puzzled.
they're available and they're great. You don't have to elbow someone at an auction to get one, or have your mouse over the checkout at the right time. I know I could have only got this bottle due to the mighty bottle slappers. These folk probably don't want their names on this video, but a huge cheers to them. The patrons have early access, exclusive content. They vote on what videos they would like to see. They didn't vote on this one. I am off the rails tonight. Check out Patreon if you'd like, but I am grateful for you watching and braving this tough topic. Cheers. For me, here's the honest bit. Springbank makes great whiskey. It's oily, coastal, funky, in a way few other distilleries are brave enough to be. It feels handmade, there's a charm in the rough edges, and it is, even on the neck pour, really good.
Trying to save face at the last minute.
But if I was to pour a dram, close my eyes and really taste it, not think about the label or the hype, does it blow me away more than other 60 quid whiskies out there? For me, I think it's fair to say, not always. The 10 is probably my favourite that I've tried, and also this is my first full bottle that I've got my little tiny hands on. Every other time has either been samples, bottle splits, or trying in bars. From 100 proof 5-year-olds, 12-year-old cash strengths, the overly sherried 15-year-old, and a few others that I never noted down. Sometimes they're great, sometimes it's just okay. Funky and unique, sure, but that doesn't always mean better. There is a difference between something being rare and something being spectacular, and sometimes our brains can blur the two. We are all guilty of it. You hear everyone raving about a bottle, you finally get one, you pour it, you want it to be life-changing. And maybe it is, but maybe it is just your brain hyped up more than your palate. I can already feel the subscribers leaving. With Springbank, I sometimes feel like I'm being told how to feel, that this dram is sacred, that this is what whiskey should be, and if you don't love it, you're missing out on something. Well, I'm here to say, it's okay not to love it. It's okay to enjoy it, but not worship it.
Look at me, son. It's not your fault.
Whiskey is subjective. Springbank won't take it personally. For me personally, Long Row is the best of their ranges. And to Glengyle, Kilkerran is the king of Campbeltown. So am I saying Springbank is bad? Absolutely not. It is a cornerstone of whiskey history. It is unique. Its ethos and focus on authenticity is something to be inspiring and admired. I was pumped to finally get my hands on one. It is very good whiskey. But what are your views on it? Should I hand in my whiskey reviewer badge now? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much to the Bottle Select Club and for all of you watching. If you've enjoyed this, like, subscribe, all that YouTube guff. I'm grateful to have you here, and cheers to the next one.